Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to make the ideal SEO oriented blog homepage using GreenShift in WordPress. All right, so this is what our homepage looks like right now. And what we're going to want to do is utilize a bunch of the GreenShift blocks and the header tag, so H123, in order to optimize our website for both the readers and for um, the search engines. Now, what we want to make is basically something similar to what they give us on the default template over here. And we're going to show you how to do this from scratch. And we're going to work our way from the top, so the header, to a bunch of these sections, all the way down to the bottom to the footer. So let's go ahead and um, well, first, if you're not familiar with GreenShift, let's take a look at the GreenShift options over here. And we have a video on setting up GreenShift. But if you aren't familiar, once you start your site from scratch, it's going to prompt you for a bunch of homepage settings, um, choosing your header patterns over here, making a single post template, making a post archive template, and creating extra pages if you needed those. But we can do those all manually. And you can see over here, we already made a few different pages just for our navigation, just as an example. And we also already have a few posts, and we can reorganize these just to show you what they'll look like. And let's take a look at our templates, and you can see here under appearance we have the editor, and from here we can go ahead and customize everything that you see on here. And first, let's take a look at the templates, and you can see we have our archive template over here. We have our homepage template over here, which is a blog home template over here, which is what we're seeing right here. So any changes we make to this template will reflect on the main page. And we have a bunch of other templates over here, which makes editing the website very easy, and which also makes GreenShift a very powerful theme. And first, let's mess with the header. So under here, patterns, header, let's go ahead and click on that. And let's just choose a random one from here. Okay, this looks good. So these patterns over here are based on just ordinary blocks. So if you take a look at it over here, under the group, we have a row. We have another row over here, and you can just like remove that. Oops. We can just remove that if we wanted to for this one. Let's go ahead and change this to, and we can change the background color to red. Save that. And once we reload our site, our header is now going to change. And if we went to the other pages that we've made, it's going to look the same because this applies globally. Oops. We got to fix this home over here. Let's change this link to, oops. Okay, apply, save that, right? And let's reload this. And if we clicked on home, it should take us back to the home page. Okay, so let's return back over here and manage the blog home template itself. Okay, so from here, you can see everything here is just a block. We can group these into columns, and you can see how this is structured. So over here, we have a stack, and you can get it as complicated as you want. So let's just go ahead and delete this, and let's start from scratch. So first, let's insert our first section here, and we want to make sure that this section isn't included underneath or within the header. So one real quick way to check this is to see that it will affect the blog home. And if it says only footer, only header, that means that we're not doing it right, that we messed this one up. So if we reloaded this, it should be blank. And let's go ahead and add in a background to this. Let's put a gradient, or maybe something like this. Okay, save that and see if it makes a difference. Okay, and if we went to another part of the website, it should just be blank, because that's one surefire way of telling if you accidentally put it on your header, on your footer, or on your footer, that is that if you go to a different part of your website and this colorful bar is still going to be on there. So this is going to be our hero section, and let's get into the meat and bones of this. Let's insert a advanced heading. Let's center this up, and let's just type in here. Okay, and then we want to make sure that for our big titles, this is going to be heading 1. And just a quick explanation for those that don't know is that not only, as you can tell, that they have different sizes, which helps the readers or the visitors or whoever to read the website, search engines take a look at how these are labeled. So imagine as a computer, it's thinking in the most logical way. I could personally make this H1 a smaller font size than the paragraph, or even H6. But as a computer program, it's going to take a look at this, and it's going to be able to tell that whatever is written on my website as H1 or tagged as H1, regardless of the font color or what, it's going to see that this is a main idea or a title, right? Because it's H1, because it's in the hierarchy, and if you can see on the structure like this, that's what it's going to be like. Okay, next we want to add in some text here underneath that, and let's go ahead and put a background color on this. Let's just make it like gray and then put that on there. And let's add in some text. So honestly, this one is set as div or paragraph. Doesn't really matter for our purposes in this video. So okay, and then if we wanted to, we can go ahead and justify this onto the right. And you know what? Let's make this a bit lighter. Or in fact, let's make it a different color just so it stands out a little bit better. Okay, there we go. And then next we want to put on a button here, and then we can center this up if we want. And let's go ahead and change this to something else, like start running. And then we can change the link to this to be, let's say, guides. Oh, there we go. And that should be good. And let's save this and take a look at how it looks like on our live site. And there's our hero section. And if you clicked on this, it's going to take us to the guides, right? Okay, so that's pretty cool so far. So there's our first section, the hero section. And before we move on, let's go over here and click on these. And we kind of want to add some spacing. So some pixels in the top margin, and then on the button, let's put some margin as well. So 50 pixels down there. Save it, and again, you can change this depending on desktop, tablet, and or mobile. Because sometimes I'm sure everybody's experienced it. They open the website and it just doesn't fit, or it's totally ruined, or it's impossible to read. So just spacing it out makes it a bit easier to look at. If you want to do, since this is our main one, let's go ahead and change the font, advanced typography options, or actually custom font. Let's change it to something else. Pass Albert Sands, or probably newsreader. And then we can make the font size a bit bigger, so huge. There, save that, and take a look at on the live website. Okay, that's a bit more acceptable. And for this section over here, we want our width to be okay. Or we can make it block or inline or what, but for our section, we want this to be full width. There we go. Sorry about that. And if we reloaded our site, you can see that it's going to take up the whole width over here. Okay, so there's our hero section. Okay, now let's go ahead and make our next section, which is going to be our topic silos. And if you look this term up, topic silos, it's a term they use for SEO. So we're going to make a 3-column section, and we're going to link it to the different areas over here. So let's make another section over here. I'll put it underneath that. And let's put some columns here. And we'll put 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And for each one of these, we're going to put an icon. 2, 3. And, you know, there's some blocks that you could do this with, but we just want to show you that you can do everything manually. And over here, let's put a heading under each one. And underneath all of these, let's put in a subtitle, and then we'll put a button under each one of these. Okay, so now let's go over here and make sure that everything is where it should be. And you can see I accidentally put it underneath the footer. So let's save that and just double check where everything is supposed to be. Uh-oh. Let's cut this, save this, reload it. And then over here, Control V. Oops. Control V down here, and then, oh gosh. Let's just add in another one over here just because it's a bit confusing. Is that right? Okay, and then we can just put this over here, Control V, and there's our section. And let's reload our site, and it should appear. There we go. Now let's go ahead and make this section full width, and we can take a look at the columns one by one. And you can see this is what's going to be in each one of the columns. So for this first one, let's make this one the guides. So, you know, if we wanted to just search guide or book, right? And then we can change the color and everything. Let's make this purple. There we go. And then for this next one, we want to make sure that this is going to be H3. For this one as well, H3. And then this one as well, H3. Call this one guides. And then this one, it doesn't really matter, if anything, right? Div or whatever. And then for this one over here, we can put in our links. Oops. We can center this up. We'll change this to something else. And then let's change the color of this to something else. Background color, let's choose this. And our text color can be black. And then since these are all going to be the same, let's go ahead and duplicate this a couple of times. And then insert it here and just remove the original one. Okay, this is on the bottom. Okay, and if you wanted to, you can go ahead and link whatever's here. But in the interest of brevity of this video, we're not going to do that. You're free to do that however which way you want. And the next one is going to be reviews. So let's just call this reviews and change the color to something a bit more interesting. And then for this one, we're going to call this contact us. So and then okay, and then let's go ahead and add in a color for this section. Background color. Let's make it blue, or probably red would be nicer, some shade of pink. Okay, and then we can save that. And then this is going to be our internal linking, right? So we can turn these into, we can link these into wherever, but these are like the main sections of our website, right? And then we can reload this, and then this is how it's going to turn out on our live site. Okay, so these are going to be the main ideas, right? So if this one was H1 and then these ones are H3, you can see that these are bigger than here than these ones. So it's a bit easier for us to look at, but not only that, the search engines will see what the main ideas of our site are. Okay, we can change this to something else if we wanted to. Next, let's make a new section, and this is going to be for our featured post. So here we can go ahead and add in a couple rows, well, a couple columns here, left and right. And then for here, we want, we're going to put an advanced image, and we'll take our placeholder image here, and we're going to enable dynamic image value. So featured image of the current post. So this is going to be the latest post, right? And if we were to go over to our dashboard real quick, we have our posts here, and our latest post is this one. And this is the featured image, as you can see here. So this is, well, let's go ahead and save this real quick, just so you can see that that's what it's going to display. There you go. And what we can do here is we can add a title that says our latest post, or our featured post. So we have our image over here. Let's go ahead and insert another heading. And then we're going to enable dynamic text value, post data, current or latest. There you go. It says latest, a post, and then the title, right? So example post 4. So that's how we know we're doing it right. And we want to keep that on H2, right? And then we can center this up just so it's a bit nicer to look at. And we can go ahead and add in some text underneath this, and then we can put in dynamic text value, post data, current latest, post, and then you can put in an excerpt of whatever it is that's written here. And I don't think there's anything written on that post per se. I don't think there is anything. No, so just the headings and whatnot. So it might not actually display. So let's see if that works. Because we formatted this real quick. Okay, and it doesn't. So what we're gonna want to do is just it's something to do with our formatting here. Let's just delete that, and then let's just type in some placeholder text and reload our live site, and it should display some flavor text over here. So oh wait, my mistake. There's a big rookie mistake. We should have probably typed it in over here. So okay, we can save that, and it should be fine. My bad. Oops. Save that, and then we can reload our site, and it should pop up with an excerpt over here. And then with that done, let's go ahead and add in a button. And if we wanted to, we can put in a custom link over here, but we'll just go ahead and put on our archive guides. Okay, and then read our blogs. And let's set this up to where it's aligned in the center. And let's put a color to the section, background, and we'll put something interesting like that. Okay, save that. Or before that, let's go ahead and add in our heading advanced here just so that people know what it is. And we can keep this as H2 if we wanted to. And let's go ahead and put this as right, to keep things simple. Let's enter that up, save that, and let's take a look at our site now. Okay, so we have our website, our blog homepage starting to come together. Okay, and it's important that, at least for this one, that you have your navigation as a sticky header, just so it's easier for them to navigate and see what where they want to go. Okay, so if we wanted to, we also could add another section down here, right? And then, oops, put this over here. And then this will be our latest articles section or latest posts. So over here, we can look for the query loop if we wanted to, or we could have an advanced listing. So this is what it's gonna be, or we could have query loop builder, and you can see that we can have it as a grid like that. But for now, let's just stick with the basics, and instead of a listing area, we can have our query loop builder here. And we can include a certain tag or taxonomy, but for the purposes of this video, this is just going to be our latest posts. And over here, we can change our layout. We can change it to grid or inline. Let's make it into a grid. Keep it like that. For our data settings, we can order it by date, ascending or descending. we can change our container link for the whole thing. We can add a background just for this section, spacing and border, flexible content. So we can make this as a grid again, and then, set that as is. We can set the maximum height for this, the spacing for here, and there we are. And you can see we have all of these in here, and we can customize each one of these, and can also customize how everything would look like. But we'll just stick with the grid, and let's save this and take a look at how it looks like on the site so far. Okay, there we go. It doesn't really play too well on the back end, so you'll really have to play with the front end and just go back and forth between them. And then for this section, again, let's give it a background just so we can see that it's a bit different. And let's put a heading on this one. Center this up. Save that. And then one thing you want to keep in mind for each one of these is that for each one of these, right, we have our meta getter, right, and its taxonomy terms. If we wanted to, we can put a different field or what. For the dynamic title, we kind of want to put them on H3 just to keep them organized like that. And you can change the typography from here. It doesn't have to be as is. And let's reload our site and let's take a look at how it looks like thus far. And all in all, it's coming together. So you can see we have, this is heading 1, others is heading 2, heading 3. We have our latest post here, and you can see it actually is the latest post. And you can see all of the other articles, and it's becoming easy to navigate and see where everything is on our site. Okay, and let's move on to our next section. So let's move over here and let's add another section. And you want to be careful with that and put it over here. And let's add in a couple columns again. And for this one, let's add in an image advanced, and we'll just choose a random photo. This one, there we go. And then we can center this up, I think. There we go. And let's add in a heading here. And we want to make this heading 3. And let's add in some text here. And we can put in our social media icons, social share. There you go. And just drag and drop that down here. And we'll just keep everything on there just for the sake of this video. And we have videos on where everything or how all of these work. And we can have an accordion over here. And let's take a look over here, accordion. Let's add another one. And for here, let's make this okay, perfect. And let's go ahead and add a section color to this section. Again, just to separate everything. Let's make this one green, yellow. And this section is about building trust. So, it'll be easy to see where everything is, right? And that's a real simple section. Again, you can add padding, spacing, um, and overall this layout is supposed to be easy to navigate. Once you pop in for the first time, you just have to scroll down. It'll be easy to see what this website is about, and you don't have to go too far. Again, depending on how many posts you want to show here, you'll end up to see whether or not this site is SEO slop, AI trash, or if it's something that you want to go ahead and read and trust, right? You'll have your picture over here, you'll have your FAQs, updated for 2026 or 2027, evergreen content as they call it. Now, last but not least, let's go ahead and edit the footer. Logically speaking, we should have probably messed with the footer earlier on along with the header, but there's always time to do that. So let's go ahead and transform it over here. We can just keep it as that, and we'll and over here we can keep that as is, and I think that's fine for the purposes of this video. So with that saved, let's reload our site. And again, there you have it. Here's your SEO optimized custom blog homepage template in GreenShift in WordPress, utilizing different GreenShift blocks from scratch, basically. You don't need a lot of complicated blocks to make something that's actually optimized. You really just have to pay attention to what works. The heading tags, H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, icons, making your pictures look good, everything stand out, and utilizing the query or dynamic data in order to pull your latest or whatever you want to feature on here. So hopefully this helps someone out. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.